position of the Friary estate compared to town. It's just a 5-minute walk away. I love the area around Salisbury as well. It's so scenic.
Just love the locality of everything in the city. I mean, for a city, it's such a small place. Everything is readily available, easy to get to, and everybody finds it easy for walking to and from, and it's great.
Well, when I first heard that I was coming to the Friary and mentioned it to people, they were like, oh, you don't want to be on there, because back then there used to be 2 big tall towers in the centre, and people were known that that area was where all the drug addicts, and the council would put all the bad people in those particular blocks, and so it was all quite negative. But it's not as bad as people make out at the end of the day.
When I first came down here 23 years ago, the Friary was a definite no-no. People from out of town really didn't know the estate, just heard of it, put them off. It did have a bad reputation for fighting, drugs, police, cruising around, which they have done, and they do when necessary, But it seems to have quietened down, I would say, in about the last 10 years.
I think perception of the Friary used to be quite negative. And I think over the last few years it is becoming more positive. There is a lot of stigma still. Even my children have found that when they say they're on the Friary, people are thinking, oh my gosh, you're on the Friary. But as people become more aware of the Friary, I think the stigma has reduced a bit, and people aren't as concerned as they used to be.
Yeah, I think the people of the estate generally think perhaps we're all a little bit rough. And there are the odd few that tarnish it, but generally we are nice people. They think that if they park their car here, they might get the wheels stolen, or I don't think we've ever had that much trouble. My flat was pretty disgusting when I got it, and it took a lot of work to make it livable. Unfortunately, I've got a good family that helped me, and I think that if you haven't, you could quite easily end up living in a bit of a hole. This is my bathroom. I've got a massive crack down the toilet. I just tried to fill it in. Yeah, it's just old. The enamel keeps going on the bottom of the bath, and then you can't wash it properly. I do scrub it, but it's scratchy and horrible, so it's not very nice. Yeah, and the windows. I think the worst one's probably in my daughter's bedroom. It's pretty black and horrible. They are quite sort of damp and disgusting, and you scrub them. And I've got a tea towel in the window because it blows a gale. And then all the damp, I think it trickles down there and then down into the wall. Because the wall goes black a lot, I have to keep scrubbing the wall, and then it goes all sort of up there, and I'm forever scrubbing. I'm forever got the bleach out and the mould killer, because they've obviously got to sleep in here and it's not very nice. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is our washing line area. I'd say in the winter it's not used much, but in the summer there's a real rush of people. And if you don't get it out early, you might not get your washing out. It can be quite frustrating because you know that your washing's wet and theirs is bone dry, but they haven't taken it off the line. And as you can see, it tends to collapse. The poles keep falling out, or we've had that as a new one put in. But yeah, so it could almost do with another set of poles on here just to give enough space for all the different houses, because it's all around this area have to use this drying space.
I would also like to see more disabled facilities. My daughter-in-law is a wheelchair user and she lives in Ireland with my son, and it's really expensive for them to come over on holiday. They have to stay in a hotel, and even when they stay here for the day, he has to bundle her back up again and they have to go into McDonald's in town. It's the nearest disabled toilet. So I know we have supported housing flats over there, and I know in some supported housing places they have flats that family can rent for the week. That would be amazing. They would be able to come over more often and have a proper holiday. I mean, who can afford more than 2 or 3 nights to go in a hotel? Even if we had access to a disabled toilet, at least then he wouldn't have to keep taking her into McDonald's in town.
The council have provided some assistance for me to go up and down the stairs when necessary, in providing an extra stair rail. So I've got one either side to hold on to going up and down the stairs when necessary. But it is still a struggle for me to do so. Yes, I've had a shower installed on medical grounds because of the difficulties I had getting in and out of the bath as a hip replacement I had 8 years ago. And I've got rails attached to the wall and into the toilet to help myself up and down when necessary. So that those aids have been put in place for me as a result of the arthritis that I suffer. I also have a bath board which I sit on to get into the bath and the shower comes down, but that was put in for medical reasons. The council did that. They did.
That's how close I am to the Friary Estate Office, right across the road. Any issues, that's where I go. It's just general housing issues, any repairs we need doing, any financial assistance we might need or be able to get or stuff like that. Just general council stuff.
For a little while I used to go on estate inspections. So I felt very comfortable with that because they actually did go around. There were several people went around, housing and maintenance people, and we actually highlighted whatever areas were in need of repair. And I know the police have used anti-graffiti wipes, tried to clean up graffiti. I mean, obviously there's lots of bits of graffiti over here and here. Obviously a lot of kind of bits on it that we probably need to be touched up and then maybe eventually painted. It's the way it is obviously right now. It's looking pretty grim as you go into the park.
Do you think that would be something that the community would be involved in, get involved in again?
I'd say they did one community project where they painted the middle, but the aim was actually to do all this as well. We keep discussing it, but I think we've had a lot of changes around, so it's difficult to know now how much is going on. But for a long time we had a very strong sort of presence, double checking the estate, checking what bits were always falling down or where the graffiti was, etc.
On the estate we've got CCTV cameras. There's 4 that I think. There's one there, there's one over by the entrance to the estate, there's one up the back, and there's one round on the road to the doctor's surgery. And you also get intermittent, sporadic visits by the police, people like that.
When I first moved here, I think just because of its reputation, I was a little bit wary to begin with, and I didn't know anybody, but because I've lived here for such a while now, I feel safe. I'm not concerned about anything. It does help, I suppose, that I'm not on a ground floor, so I can leave all my windows open and go out and not worry about it. I think it is okay. I have never had any trouble.
They used to have a neighbourhood task group that was for the Friary. It's now gone much broader. It's in Salisbury. And I used to attend that. And so I know that they are looking after us. So I felt quite comfortable. The only thing that changed from obviously Shetland was, you know, how late you could go out at night. People still do it, but it, you know, it just has that slight more sense that at night you probably wouldn't go out and feel as comfortable. But really, I feel quite comfortable generally.
And what about the lighting? I noticed quite a bit of the lighting is not working.
Yeah, I mean the lighting, they actually did all the lighting, and for a little while all the lights worked. And they'd all been polished, so even that made it look a lot brighter.
Yeah.
But obviously as time gone on, it's sort of a few lights have gone.
The street light in Rain by the Park area is very, very bad. I do know that, because it's quite dangerous to walk along the path as well, because the street lights, they do get sort of like slingshots, and the bulbs are just broke. You know, I think that's kids, personally. But it's not very safe for people walking around. So that's a thing the council do replace as often as they can, but 9 times out of 10 you're in darkness over there.
I found out last winter when I went to a meeting hosted by the council over in the supposed of ours community centre, and I couldn't find it, and I couldn't even see the pathways that I was trying to walk on. So I was afraid of tripping. So I can't imagine what it'd be like for the elderly out there at night. So I found it quite scary, actually. I wasn't scared of any people, I was afraid of falling and afraid of where I was going, because I literally couldn't see. So that is a big issue for me on the Friary. But I would have to say that's the only issue. Apart from the fact that I would really like our community centre back. Alabert, a charity, actually rent it from the council. They have a lease, which is due for renewal soon. And I would like to see them not being allowed to. It's the council's choice whether they renew the lease or not. I wish the council would choose not to renew it for them and return it to the community as a community centre, which is what it was designed to be.
The community hall used to be open a lot more activity-wise for the children. There is an after-school club now, I think. I'm not sure if it goes on through the holidays. There is a small park just across the road from me, and it is a small park, and the children will meet up in the park and make friends with each other. That's what kids do. And there's a ball court outside my window which is active, and that's nice to see. So the children of the estate know each other in that respect, you know, because they meet up somewhere along the lines, and that's it. But I like to see more, not just for the youngsters, but, you know, for the teenage, you know, maybe something we got, like a coffee shop or something, that they can all go and meet up with their mates, and then they'll be off the streets then.
The after-school clubs for the children, there's the Shine, as they call it, the Shine bus, and that's run in the local community hall for the children to go. And there's also a later evening one called Treasure Kids, which the children also able to do, and they do it in kind of age groups, so the younger ones and then the older ones later, so they're not all together and get, you know, too bored of doing the same things and whatever. And even through the holidays, they try and put on at least, you know, a couple of activities, especially in the summer holidays. You know, they think, oh no, you know, I've got no clubs, but still, thankfully, they run through the holidays, so the children have got something to do as well.
It's run by the Christian people, and they do activities and singing and learn Bible stories and things like that. And on a Wednesday, a little bit later, sort of later on in the evening, they set up a youth club for the older children, which my kids did they did go to for a few weeks, but then some of the other children were misbehaving and shouting and swearing, and I don't think they're quite so keen to go now, which is a shame. But yeah, no, I mean, the people that put the time and the effort in, you know, they're lovely, and it is a shame for the others to go and ruin it, really.
People my age, there's nothing going on for the people in the estate. There's a bingo afternoon for the elderly from some lunch club that I think goes down to the community hall, and that comes not within the Friary, it brings people here. I think that's ongoing. And there are activities, if you book the hall, I think there's what you call a jamming session there, well there used to be, a group. There you go, but you got to book it. I think you can book that for occasions, because I did book it for Shane's 10th birthday Isle of Disco there. You can book it, you know, and that's it. But open to the public with volunteers, it's not really ongoing.
I think getting the community hall back would be very good. There's always been things going on in the community hall, but it tends to be for certain groups. The youth club works down there. There's a few children's clubs. There's a club for the blind. There's drug addiction club, but they tend to be for certain groups. Nothing necessarily that brings the whole community together. And I suppose that's what is missing here.
I would like to see something happening in there every evening and during the day. There is so much we could do. I'm happy to volunteer to help out, to do anything, just to make the community feel more of a community. There's nowhere here that I could go where I can meet people and make friends, so I felt isolated. I would love to make friends here, but apart from knocking on people's doors and saying, "Hello, I'm Mary, can I be your friend?" We don't have small children, so I don't have the meeting the school mums option. So, and I'm obviously I'm a lot older than them anyway. But just to have somewhere, I don't care if it's a game of bingo, anything, you know, going on at the community centre, we would love to join in.
My outside interests are boot sales and bingo, which I do enjoy. I attend whenever I can. If they had bingo sessions in the community hall, I probably would attend that. I would, depending on when they are, because I do go to bingo, you know, if there's free sessions or half price. They do a lot of sessions like that, you know, you can have free sessions or a trade at price. I can't afford the big nights, you know, where you pay £20, £25 for books. I can't afford. I don't go then. I only go when it's £5 or £10, and that's it. I love bingo.
I've been trying to get another flat or another house, ideally something with a bit of a garden, really, so that the kids can play outside. I'm on the bidding system, and it's pretty rubbish, to be fair. I don't ever seem to get anywhere. I have been offered other properties, but they're miles out. And then, one especially I was quite tempted to take, but then I looked into the bus fares, and to get everybody to school was going to cost me about £200 a month. So then I said, well, I'll quite happily take a 3-bedroom with a bit of garden, and I was told I wasn't allowed to, because then I would lose points if I take a 3-bedroom. It's a bit of a vicious circle, really. It's not very helpful at all. And then there's a thing called Home Swapper. You can swap flats or houses with other people, but because I'm 2 floors up, generally nobody wants it. They're not going to want a flat 2 stories high. So I haven't got anywhere yet.
For my medical problems that I have, it is quite urgent now that I move. And the bedroom tax, which comes into force next month, affects me in a way that I've got 2 spare bedrooms. I've done my utmost to bid for smaller properties, which is I need to do ground floor, but I haven't been successful, and the situation's getting quite desperate now. One, because it really is a problem for me to get up and down the stairs, and 2, the bedroom tax for 2 spare bedrooms is something that they're going to take, which I really can't afford to do. It's my Shane's bedroom, and he does come back occasionally to come and stay, or a member of the family comes and stay. This is one of the 2 bedrooms that has been affected by the bedroom tax, and it's available for a carer or a member of the family to come and stay when necessary, to come and help me. And the other bedroom, there was a bed in it, but I got rid of a lot of things that I knew I wouldn't take with me. I was hoping to move, and it's just there now to store things that I've packed away and I haven't got the heart to unpack. So that is just really there now to store things I've packed away.
There is a sense of community on this estate, I think. You know, everybody will look out for each other. They all seem quite friendly enough, and you know, one of the little old ladies down the bottom will keep an eye on the kids in the park, and the other one will, over the other way, will watch the kids in the ball court, and everybody would let you know if there was something wrong, or, you know, I wouldn't be too frightened to knock on anybody's door and ask for help.
Yeah, well, it is a friendly community, and just overall, you know, easy going. Really, I can only speak from the people that I know, and I know virtually everyone to say hello to on speaking terms in that way, and I've got other friends who you might go and visit and have a cup of tea with, or they're coming here. You know, it's ongoing. Helpful, really, I found that. And in turn, I will help out as well, whenever possible.
For me, the difficulties when I moved here was a bit of isolation, really. I was lucky in that I had children, so I was attached to the school, and I think that really does help reduce the amount of isolation that you feel. And also I started going to a local church, and I found that also helps. So you've got that base, but if I was on my own coming here and I didn't have that, I would have found it quite difficult, because initially I found that people didn't talk very much. You were very much behind your own door, and I think that has changed actually over the years. The atmosphere has changed, but people used to just lock the door and let them sit. I know that there is a kind of a long-standing local population that probably do know each other, but there's also a lot of people who come in and move, and you have that turnover all the time, and people just don't get to know each other.
The one sort of family fun day that we did have, I think we saw most people on the green out back. It was a good day, but it was a one-off. Didn't really get to talk to that many people, as you never do. I think personally the estate should have a committee to bring things like family fun days, or just to get ideas from the residents what we can do to improve the community spirit of the estate. This was when we had the residents committee and all that occurring. We had a big fun day on this green behind us. We had bouncy castles, we had live music. it was a really good day, that. When the residents committee disintegrated. That went with it, unfortunately. I would love to get one up and running again this year, but unless you've got people to help you, back you up, one man can't do it all. It just seemed to draw everybody from the estate out and about. People got chatting to each other, people got interested in what was going on. I mean, you had people like the police here doing demonstrations, you had St John's Ambulance here, you had local residents just milling about, buying candy floss and popcorn and hot dogs and burgers and stuff like that, and just having a good time. It just showed to me that there was actually community spirit on the estate, but it disintegrated with the disintegration of the residents committee, unfortunately.
I missed the fun day, which was a roaring success on the estate. I wasn't aware of it going on at that particular time, so from a leaflet point of view, put through the door, I would have been aware and I would have attended. So leaflets to sort of explain what could be happening on the estate and would I like to attend would be a good thing.
I think if you, the only way I ever hear about anything is generally because the kids go to the club across the road. You know, there'll be somebody over there that will say this is happening or that's happening, or otherwise you don't generally hear about anything. Sometimes there's something stuck on the notice board downstairs if something's happening. But apart from that, I wouldn't know.
I suppose if there was like leaflets put through people's doors for a meeting of the estate for any queries or concerns anyone might have, and then you got the option of attending the meeting to voice your opinion. But that's not really ongoing.
The things that play on my mind and that worry me about for the future of me and for the children. You know, there's always a lot on the news about them cutting back on benefits and housing. So it is very worrying knowing where 10 years down the line where you'll end up really and what help is going to be available. I mean, obviously, you know, I'd like to be in a position once my youngest is ready to go to preschool to be able to move on and find work to help bring in the money myself and not have to rely on the benefits all the time. But I mean, it's still going to be hard to be able to earn enough to warrant the benefits and stuff in the first place. I mean, because you go to the job centres, and I've got a friend who's recently done that, and she was basically told that, you know, you're better off as you are at the moment until her child was 5. You know, it wasn't really given much help towards her finding a job now than in 5 years. So it is hard.
I've been to college. I've done a plumbing course, so I'm qualified as a plumber. But really now it's just finding the childcare and then finding somebody sort of silly enough to take me out, because obviously I've learnt in a classroom environment and I need to go out and learn in the real world. But yeah, I'm trying to start making a life for me and the children. You know, I have been down the job centre and I have inquired, and they just said, well, you know, until your littlest is 5, you don't really need to worry about it. Which, you know, I do worry about it. I would quite like to be out at work before then. Not only because it's boring, but also because I just, you know, I don't want my children growing up thinking it's okay not to work and sit at home all day. It's not really the attitude to have, so yeah.
All 3 family members that live here work, and I would love to work in Salisbury, but finding a job has been a very big challenge. I don't have any formal qualifications. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a social worker. I do have a lot of experience with schoolwork, and I've worked for Devon Social Services for 8 years now with children in care.
Getting work in this day and age can be a problem, because I find that when I'm looking just to see what is out there, 90% of what is out there is low paid and part-time. Whether that is by design by the government or just the way employers are at the moment, I don't know. Most important bit of the kit, I class myself as being very lucky. I've got full-time employment, I really do.